Hello, I'm Sharif.
And I'm Martin, and today we're going to be talking about self-reliance.
So, Martin, what is Emerson's opinion on self-reliance?
It involves going on your own way and refusing to do something because everyone else is just doing it and not just following everyone else. Emerson is convinced that nonconformity is the only way for individuals to become fully and honestly human. The importance of each person avoiding conformity and false consistency in favor of following his and her own instincts and thought. Emerson also uses literary choices or literary devices to emphasize his opinion on self-reliance. He uses, for example, personification in a quote in which he states, "For non-conformity, the world whips you with its displeasure." Actually, the word never whips you, so it's a personification. Sharif, what is your opinion on self-reliance?
I think in self-reliance there are many main topics involved with the theme, and one of those is consistency. Emerson does not think that consistency is something we should value so high. Instead, he says that consistency is a foolish hooligan of little minds. In this case, I really disagree with Emerson because I think that consistency is very important, because if you do not care about consistency, you are inconsistent, and this will not lead to success. For example, if you are inconsistent in your grades at school, you will end up failing, because in order to pass and master something, you need to always be on top of your work and almost never have bad days and be consistent. Martin, what is your opinion on this?
I agree with Sharif because as Sharif said, if you are inconsistent, you'll never master something. However, I want to mention the fact that it's society who set these standards, as this can lead to another one of the main themes of Emerson, which is society of unconformity. Emerson's opinion on society and conformity is that society's fundamental motive is to suppress individuality. One way he shows this in the text is saying he would utter opinions on all passing affairs, which, being seen to be not private but necessary, would sink like darts in the ear of men and put them in fear. And my opinion on society and conformity is I strongly actually agree with Emerson's opinion, because I think that society does not allow people to reach their full potential. Because you need to meet society standards, and if you do not meet these standards, you'll fail. Society should not limit your potential, and no one should. So actually, I agree with Emerson's opinion. And one example for a school is part of society. It decides how far you go, and whether or not you will not reach your potential. What is your opinion, Sharif?
I agree with your opinion, Martin, because as he said, society sets these standards. And also, if you not meet these standards, you will fail. Another example other than school would be in normal work. Because if you not meet these standards in normal work, you will be fired, and these standards are set by society. Another theme I'd like to mention about self-reliance that Emerson also mentioned is traditions. Emerson thinks that traditions are something harmful. They set limits for people which should not be there. However, in my opinion, traditions can be harmful, but at the same time, they can be good and loving. An example of that would be Christmas. For example, in Christmas, it's all about love. It's all about sitting with your family and etc. However, a bad example of a tradition which is harmful is honor killing. This is where people would kill someone, normally a family member, because they feel like they're ruining the family's good image and reputation. Martin, what are your thoughts on this?
I disagree with Emerson's opinion, because you should follow traditions, as these are where your family originated from, and you need to follow them, but not so blindly. So if there's something you believe is wrong, or you do not believe in it, you should not just blindly follow it for the sake of traditions. But I disagree with Emerson, as there are some traditions that you need to follow. Something I also truly value in the text of Emerson is responsibility, which is shown in self-reliance. And Emerson's opinion on self-reliance is individual's obligation to society is to remain individual, and the individual must be a free thinker and should be a nonconformist and should take care of himself. I actually agree with Emerson's opinion, because everything he says about opinion is reflected upon on self-reliance, and the responsibility is something that you should take seriously. A real life situation or an example, for example, is in work, when you work for someone and you show that someone you're you're responsible, they may put you at a higher position because they see you're responsible and you can handle things very good. So that's why responsibility is very necessary. Sharif, what is your opinion on responsibility?
My opinion, I really do agree with your opinion too. However, I would like to add on to that because I think it's not possible to be self-reliant without being responsible. In order to be self-reliant and successful, you need to be responsible. And another real-life situation to responsibility is, for example, when you grow up and you maybe have kids in the future, you're going to have to be responsible for all their finances. You're going to have to be responsible for their entire life. So I think that I also do agree with Emerson's opinion, and I think that responsibility does play a crucial role in self-reliance. As I said before, if you are not responsible, you cannot be self-reliant. So Martin, what do you think are the two most important categories in self-reliance and why?
I think two of the most important ones are society and conformity and responsibility. In order to be successful in life, you need to have responsibility. Anyone that is successful needs to have responsibility, because being responsible shows you're capable of handling yourself and doing your own work. And society and conformity is I honestly agree with Emerson, and it's also gonna helps you in real life. And it's something that affects you, and that sets standards. So sometimes when you set standards for your work or something, it sometimes doesn't allow you to reach your full potential. Sharif, what do you think?
I agree with you in terms of responsibility, because as I said before, if you're not responsible, you cannot rely on yourself, you cannot be self-reliant. However, something I'd like to add on to that is consistency. Even though Emerson does not think that consistency is something important and something good, I really strongly disagree, because as I said before, if you're inconsistent, you can never really fully rely on yourself, because then you cannot really kind of trust yourself. So I think that consistency plays a crucial role, even though Emerson does not believe so. And yeah, as I said before, responsibility and consistency are pretty much the two main key factors for self-reliance, in my opinion.
Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Bye.